Where are the clowns? Where are the clowns?
Where are the
Where are the
clowns?
clowns?
Where are the clowns? Where are the
Where are the
clowns?
clowns?
Where
Where
are
are
the
the clowns?
clowns? Where are the
Hello and welcome to this new interview series called Where Are the Clowns? I'm Manish and I'm very excited to welcome you all to this series in which we interview clowns from all over the world. Clowns who are wearing the red nose in places where clowning is not very popular. We'll be in conversation with practitioners, learning about their journeys and about how they keep this practice alive and sustainable for themselves and for everyone around them. This series is part of the Clown Spirit Fellowship held beautifully by Barnaby King and Dan Rudolph. In today's episode, we have the wonderful Mery Miguez from Argentina. Mery is a clownch, someone who uses clowning techniques for coaching. She's an arts facilitator as well as a mindfulness coach. She's also a certified neuro-linguistic programming practitioner. Her passion is to facilitate transformative learning experiences where groups get in touch with their highest potential by accessing individual and collaborative creativity. In her experience, she finds that when we're able to tap into the collective awareness in the present moment, as a society, we're able to sense what wants to emerge in the next moment. The result of this is a profound trust in ourselves, in others, and in life. Mary's unique approach has been shaped by her lifelong journey to find the core from where we humans express the very best of ourselves. She loves finding ways to support people to open up to their gifts and be more of who they really are. She helps people become co creators of the world they want to live in. Mary is convinced that as each of us finds our place in the puzzle of life, society becomes more whole. In our conversation, Mary brings 30 years of experience in theatre, mindfulness, and social change, blending all of that into what she now calls clownching. A small note before we begin: this episode was recorded on the 23rd of January 2025, so you may hear some references dating back to January. This interview was also recorded over Zoom, so please bear with us for any audio fluctuations you might hear. We hope you enjoy the interview.
Where are the clowns?
Are you in Argentina right now?
Mhm. Yeah, it's called Tucumán. It's in the northwest.
Okay. How's the weather right now?
Very hot.
Oh, wow. That's, yeah, same.
Yes, I imagine India being a very hot country.
Yeah, and I also live in Mumbai, and we have almost no concept of winters here.
Oh,
Like
wow.
this right now is the coldest it probably gets, and it's still 23, 24 degrees, Celsius. Yeah,
So is this supposed to be winter in India now?
yeah.
Okay,
It is.
okay,
It is winter.
okay.
Because the summer can go up to 38, 40.
Yeah, here too, like we're in summer. And so I don't even look at the weather, like I don't know what's the temperature really, but it's hot and I just go with whatever it is. But some people like to look at the numbers, but I think it's probably maybe I don't think it has gotten to the 40s, but very close, probably.
I'm assuming it doesn't snow where you are.
Here, no, but in the mountains, yes. So we have mountains, and yeah, it snows there. Um, yeah, but in the city here, no, it never snows. But people really feel that they're cold in here. But I lived in New York, and I spent winters in Vermont. And I've been to like Europe in the winter, and I feel like those are winters.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Like this is kind of cold, but not that cold.
Yeah.
Anyways, but yeah, but people suffer here. But imagine if the summers are really hot. But this is what I'm saying. Every time it's hot, I go, well, let's enjoy this before the winter comes. Or when it's cold, let's enjoy this before the heat comes. So,
Yeah. I think it really affects our state with weather transitions, if that makes sense. Um, like here in Mumbai, it's almost always hot. So there's a sense of monotony that I feel like we all feel very often. But like you said, when I was in Berlin, there were like really harsh winters. Like it would get dark by 3:30, 4 p.m. and
oh, yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. But then like it would feel like life is completely changing. Like every 3 or 4 months, it would feel like and in a way there was a lot of beauty in it. Um, yeah, there was we really valued the days of summer while it was there. And then we really valued the last few days of winter. We really valued like seeing new flowers in spring. Um, yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. I spent a lot of time in Vermont also, and they do have very, very distinct four seasons.
mm,
And in the fall, the colors of the trees. Oh my God. Then the summer so full, the trees, and the spring, like the snow is like melting and the little buds are coming out. Like, yeah, they really have different seasons. That's very nice.
yeah,
Yeah, very different feeling for each of those. And like a lot of the time we talk in that's when I spend a lot of time meditating and in the meditation community, and we talk about hibernating and kind of retrieving and relaxing and also kind of looking in. And you can do that because I think it's about 3 months of that, and then there's the rebirth that comes from it. So
yeah,
it is true that it does affect a little bit how we move or how
yeah.
we do things.
I remember being in Berlin and the months of winter, it almost felt like the world is asking us to just stop. Like we have to
Mm.
stop right now. We have to slow down, we have to listen, we have to introspect, we have to be by ourselves. Um, and for someone like me who's not used to it, because Mumbai never stops. Mumbai is always hot, it's always sunny, it's it's always running at the same speed. So for someone like me who's never experienced winter like that, that's scary all of a sudden. But then the more I stayed, um, I think life became a lot more mythical, if that makes sense. Life, like you said, there's a time of rebirth and there's a time of rest and there's um yeah, I think life became a lot more adventurous because of the weather. Um, I love talking about the weather. I think it really just I think so much of just who we are is based on the geography around us. The yeah,
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 I agree. This is, I usually don't like to talk about the weather because in my experience is that people use it to kind of complain. But this has been the best weather conversation I've had. Yeah, I'm gonna start rethinking the weather conversation. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I could totally think like there's a little river in the meditation center that again is totally different depending on the season. Like, it's totally white frozen. And then it's so nice to see when the water start kind of finding its way to start moving. But I looking at that river, it's just like a little, it's not even like a river, but it's like, water passing by. And I have one of my biggest insights looking at that little river when I was doing it was a movement workshop kind of retreat, and we were working with the different, in the body, feeling the different elements. And so we were working with water. And so, like we were out to kind of aimless wandering. And I just was by this little creek and I looked at the water and I looked at the water and I realized how, I mean, this is probably very obvious, but I saw it, this feeling of no resistance,
Mm-hmm.
no resistance whatsoever. And it was just going, and there were stones and finding its way around. There were, trunks, there were whatever. And it just keep going. And even if it'll find something, kind of like a bigger, it'll go till there and then find another way and continue. But the feeling of no resistance was so huge. Like I still feel it.
Yeah.
And sometimes when I'm like, feeling whoa, resistance in my life, if I remember that, kind of gets me out.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
so good. Yeah. Yeah, I think it's great that we're starting this with talking about weather because it's reminding me of just listening to things around us, which is so essential to being a clown, which I
Yep.
think is the very core of what it means to be a clown, is to is to have that sense to be able to listen to the tiny stream of water that you're talking about.
I agree. I agree. And I think that it is a matter of a decision, like a choice. Yeah. This town where I live right now, I used to live so my family moved when I was 9, and I lived here until I was 21.
Mhm.
And I hated it at the beginning because it was first of all, because I felt like at this little tree that was starting to find its way and then pull out and take it somewhere else. And for one thing, after that, I was never able to like really set roots anywhere. And so what I find that was a good thing because I love traveling. I consider myself a nomad. I love, 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 love moving and going places. And I live here and then I live there and then I love that. So in a way, I thank my parents for doing that so early. And
Yeah.
so it kind of, they implanted that. So, but at that time, I didn't see that. And at that time, I was like, this is horrible. This is a horrible place. Blah, blah, blah. And I just felt so bad about it. And when I was 16, I remember very clearly already like what 7 years went by. And I thought, there must be something good in this place.
Yeah.
There must be something good. Where is the good? And I just decided to open my eyes because I was like, there has to be, it cannot be all bad. And then I look to this side and I'm looking because that's where the mountains are. I go, wow. I think I saw the mountains for the first time. And not only that, but it was spring. And the thing that happens is you can see from here when it snows, and towards the end, kind of early spring, and you could see the white, the ice, and then the sun comes out, and it just somehow like melts the ice, and the icing is like it's like the green, the trees are actually being washed, and so somehow they're like sparkly bright and still cool because it's early spring, so it's morning but still cold. And those are my favorite days. And I think because of that, because the sun is bright and the green is bright and it's still cold, and like, oh, so beautiful. So that was one thing I go, wow. And then I started looking in the actual town and the buildings and things, and I went, wow, this is a beautiful building. And look at this. And so I really started finding, and I felt much better. But it is true. You can find the poetry and beauty anywhere. You just have to want to see it.
Yeah.
You just
And
have to want to see it.
you said it very beautifully. You just said like I have to open my eyes. And we very often just don't do that. Uh very often have this sort of tunnel vision and just like just looking i- in a very analytical way at the place where we want to go. Um,
Yes.
I think that's what
Yes.
clown did for me for the very first time, you know. I think when I put the red nose on, um, and my teacher had very specifically told me to maybe when I go up in the space to put the red nose and maybe take off my glasses because sometimes with the glasses I get used to seeing in these rectangles, but the clown demands you to like see it fully, um,
Yes.
and the
Big
eyes,
eyes.
yeah, big eyes, um, yeah. Was this experience of returning to your childhood place, was this after you came across clown, or where had you gone to come back?
Oh, yeah. So first, my parents took me out of my place.
Mm-hmm.
And then I took myself out every time. And so at 21, I lived in another place, like in the ocean, in here, close to in Buenos Aires, very close to the city. And then after that, I lived in Buenos Aires, and then I moved to the States. And I lived in the States for 22 years.
Mm-hmm.
And because my family kept staying here, my father died and my mother's still here, and she now is older and she needs help. So when I came to visit in 2019,
Mm-hmm.
I saw that she actually needed more help, but she actually needed help. And then I don't know, because I make decisions like that. I go, okay, I'll stay. And the moment where I had the ticket that I was supposed to go back, I was like, am I making the right decision? And I was staying put, and the plane was like,
Uh,
and I stayed here, and I was like, okay, I'm staying.
hmm.
And yeah, it has been a very interesting time where I feel that again, I think I start kind of seeing a pattern where I don't seem to like the beginning of changes, and then somehow I find my way around it. Yes. Um, it has been an adjustment because I never thought I'll be back here. Never, ever, ever. If somebody told me you'll be back and you'll stay and you'll spend already 5 years. I've been here 5 years. I'll be like, no way in the world. I have nothing to do in that place. But it has been very helpful in terms of finding me in seeing myself in different ways that I don't think I would be able to do it in the States. Um, Yeah. And the other thing is like it's never the same, like I worked I've done like coaching training. So, when you train as a coach, basically you just go through a transformation yourself.
Hmm.
And so my training was about 3 years. And so I did that. And also I did a lot of therapy throughout my life. So I worked with my mother and the family situation.
Yeah.
So I thought I totally had it. But, but then I'm actually with her in front of me. And I was like, wow. Yeah, there's still a lot to work. That again, I think I think that I don't know how to say. In Buddhism, we talk about that you might think you're enlightened and you might believe it. And then they tell you, okay, so go spend some time with your family and let's see how enlightened you are. And yeah, that's a very good proof, or good test. Yeah, I wasn't very
No,
and yeah, but I think again, I found myself in different ways. Uh, like, yeah, like for example, I lost a lot of weight. I paid a lot of attention to me. Um, I started doing clowning, which I wasn't doing when I was in the States. Like, I mean, I was taking workshops and I was, studying, but I wasn't really doing what I wanted to do because the work that I'm doing now that I started here, I wanted to do it since like maybe 2009 that I had this idea of doing it. And look at that, like almost 12 years later, I actually did it, 11 years later. And yeah, so that was actually really good. Yeah, and then I picked up a tennis. I love tennis. Oh my God,
oh my
I
God,
am
I played tennis just
obsessed.
today. I just played tennis. I came back like 3 hours ago from playing tennis.
Too, me too.
Wow.
I just took a shower and I'm like, oh my God, I need to kind of look like a person. But I took my cap off. I'm like, God, I need to take a shower. Yes, I
Who are you,
love tennis.
who are you rooting for in the Australian Open?
Ah, well, I mean, I wanted Carlitos to win.
Yeah,
I mean, Sinner or Alcaraz.
yeah,
And I kind of like Zverev as well, and I think it's about time for him to kind of win a Grand Slam.
yeah.
But I don't like Djokovic. I don't
Oh,
like him.
why don't you like Djokovic, if I may ask?
Know how to say, and maybe this is not a good thing, but I feel he already had his time and his glory. Just move on, And also there's something about him that, yes, like one time I saw this interview to Alcaraz that they asked him who is the number one, like who's the GOAT for him. Is it Novak, is it Rafa or Roger? And he said, and I hear a lot of people say the same. The numbers said it's Novak,
Yeah,
but I haven't heard a person say Novak. It's
yeah,
just you go. The number says it's Novak,
yeah,
kind of saying like you're gonna have to give him because the numbers are there, but nobody really recognized him really as the GOAT.
yeah.
I just feel that there's something in his personality. I feel that Roger and Rafa have a much chill type of, even though they're very competitive, but I don't. There's something about them that they just I don't. They're more human. I don't know how to say it. Like,
Yeah, yeah. I you're probably the first person who I agree with on this because I hear everyone who I speak to about tennis just be like, of course, Djokovic is the GOAT. Um, and to me that has never made sense because I don't think if you're talking about the greatest of all time, you can just base it on numbers. You have to sort of, I think it needs to be based on just the cultural impact that a player has had, and
Exactly.
of course you can't really measure it. So, but you can feel it, you can experience that because I remember when so Rafa's been my favorite player for an extremely long amount of time, but like the things that Roger and Rafa have done together, um, like I used to be like a small kid sitting very far away from them, and like I used to be incredibly moved. I used to wait for those matches to happen. Um,
Look at that,
yeah, and
right?
I've never had that for a Djokovic match. Um,
I know, right?
yeah,
And like I saw this interview that Trevor Noah did to Roger one day, and he asked him about the love, the actual LOVE love between Rafa and Roger, right?
yeah,
And again, that gave me a huge insight because he actually did not answer the question to my sense,
hmm,
because he said something about that, they really kind of moved each other forward, and I don't know, something, I can't remember it, but my feeling was like he did not answer the question. But him not answering the question kind of made me stay with the question myself. Like, what about these two that being the biggest competitor, actually people can feel the love between these two,
yeah,
right? And then I thought to myself, that is actually love.
yeah,
Because I've been for my entire life trying to understand what love is, because none of what people say make any sense to me.
yeah,
But anyhow, and then I go, this is love, because I love you so much. I'm actually going to give my best so that I will beat you, but not because I hate you, but because I love you. Because I love you. If I put all my best, then you're gonna put all your best, and then the ball will tell.
yeah,
It something will happen, and then somebody will win.
yeah,
But it's this moving the other because you're giving all you have. And I thought, wow, that's incredible. Because sometimes, until then, I thought, well, it's my friend, I should not force myself to win because it's my friend.
yeah,
But no, because of that. Anyways, yeah.
yeah. No, I get it. Yeah. In fact, when Rafa retired a few months ago, um, I was so happy to see this Instagram post from Federer, um, which was a whole complete love letter. Like, that's what I would want from a lover at some point in my life, you know? Like exactly what Roger wrote to Nadal. Um, and and there was also a documentary that came out last year on Federer's like the last 12 days um before Federer's retirement. Um, and uh, and that documentary sort of goes like, of course, it's entirely about Federer, but they have these like they give some time to Djokovic, like the Djokovic and Federer rivalry. They give some time to his family. The second last thing was about Federer and his wife, and the very last thing, the climax of that documentary was Federer and Nadal. Um, almost like like this relationship is more important than him and his wife and his kids. This this is
Yeah,
this is the biggest thing that Federer has achieved, and this is like the biggest highlight of his life. So, um, yeah, I think sports are extremely theatrical, extremely poetic, and
yeah,
I think Federer and Nadal took it to its heights. Like, yeah,
I
I
think
would
so.
we would be very lucky if we see anything like that in our lifetime again.
I think that look at what my screen
Sinner and Alcaraz.
Yeah, let me see, because I think, look at that picture. The two of them, how they're smiling and
Yeah.
they're really enjoying. It's like after the game, I'd love to see this picture because again, there's no rivalry here. It's like two guys enjoying life and then in the court, I think these two have the capacity to kind of not probably be the same,
Hmm.
but to have I mean, to kind of put us in that state somehow. Um, yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I love tennis. And I know I started from totally zero.
Hmm.
And so the first day my teacher says, my coach, we were just hitting balls or trying to hit balls. She was just like watch them pass like that. And then he said, okay, let's pick up all the balls. And I look around, there's so many balls, and I go, how am I gonna get all these balls? And I had the racket, and then I go, oh, I can put them in the racket. Just I see if I was inventing the wheel or something. Oh my God. But I swear to God, all those few months, the beginning, I felt so much like a clown not because I was being funny, because probably my teacher was laughing a lot, but because it was all so new. And I was like, wow, at everything. And so very much the clown state. And I would love that. Yes, I
Yeah.
love that.
Since we've mentioned clown a few times, um, I think for the ones who will be listening to this at some point, it would help to just to know what clowning is for you. Like we'll come back to tennis for sure. Um, but it would help to know what clowning is for you, and I guess just I'm curious to know how you first came across clowning.
First of all, like my way of living life is like I just jump and I go all the way with something, right?
Yeah.
And then something else comes up and I just jump on that and then I go all the way with that. But so I was all the way into theater, 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 theater. Um, and and then I found meditation. And somehow I left the theater to the side and I just went all into meditation. And while I was in the meditation community, I really, you know, took it very seriously because my reason to get into meditation and then into the meditation community in such a strong way is because I felt like I needed to understand mind and how the mind worked.
Hmm.
And I felt that life wasn't making a lot of sense to me. And I felt like there must be another way. And I just thought if I could understand how mind works, maybe I could find some sense. I am in 2007 in this program in Vermont again. And there is this woman that was there too. And she's a theater director. She has like a company and she directs lots of, I saw a play that she directed. She does something that is kind of, all her plays are in nature and parks outside. She works outside. And so I saw she directed this play called The Little Prince, which was the life of the Dalai Lama.
Okay.
And so she did that in Central Park. And I saw it and I went, wow, I was so impressed
Mm.
because there was a lot of we were moving through the park and it was like music and dancing and theater. We will get to some place and then there will be a scene and then it'll move somewhere else. And it was just so beautiful. And so then I saw her in this program. And one day we were having lunch and she said, you have to come and do this clown workshop in Minneapolis. And I went, wow, no way, no way. I'm a serious actor. I don't do this silly thing. And she goes, oh, no, 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 no. I think you're thinking about maybe circus clown or I go, yeah, is there another kind of clown? Like you wigs, they're not even funny, big makeup, big shoes. Like, I don't like clowns. And she goes, clown is my spiritual practice.
Mm.
I was that stopped my mind because we are, I'm working with my mind trying to understand, and she's telling me that clown is her spiritual practice, and then she's a person that is capable of creating this type of thing. Then I go, there must be something there. Clearly I don't know, I don't see it, but there must be something there. And so then I said, okay, I'm coming. But also what happened is that at the end of the programs, usually we do something we call offerings, like, and after we've meditated for 2 years, for 2 weeks or for a month or whatever, we do like a celebration and in people sing songs or do something, read a poem or something. And so she actually took her clown clothes and she performed for us. So that was even more like then I started, I'm like, there is something in here. So then there I went to Minneapolis to do this 3-week workshop all day long, every day. And it was before and after. It was before and after. Like my life was never, ever, ever the same.
This was with Giovanni Fussetti?
Yes, yes. He was it. He was my first teacher, yeah. And so then after that, and again, this is me, like I tell you, I just jump all the way. And so I started kind of going. That was in Minneapolis. Then I started with Giovanni in Boulder. I did, I don't know, 3 more of those workshops, the 3-week thing. And then I went to New York. I did a workshop in Buffon. And then I don't know. Then I was 1 month up in California in Del Arte school, and we were working with masks, and the clown was part of it, and Giovanni was teaching there, and there was a lot of like physical theater kind of training. So I feel like I did a lot with Giovanni, and then in 2017. I was already working with social presence in theater, and then this lady that I know from that community told me about this other guy in England, Vivian Gladwell, and she was gonna co-teach with Vivian. This lady, she does something that's called the work. What's it called? Parker Palmer, the courage work, something like that.
Okay.
And so it was a week training at Emerson College in the south of England, and it was called the inner teacher. So Vivian will teach the clown part, and Penny will do all the reflecting of the work. So she will like set up all this like environment for us to like really reflect and talk about what we're learning and how is this actually being the inner teacher. And I thought that was one of the best programs I've ever been in my life, because this is really funny coming from working with Giovanni, which Giovanni has, I feel, more like a theatrical type of approach to clown, like performing type of approach. And so with Giovanni, we learn the form, we find the clown, and we work a lot in the body, and we work with the voice to find the voice of the clown. And then at some point we go shopping, and then we find the clothing. Yeah. But it's not like we're going shopping to find something nice. We actually, the outfits are they're very strategic. That you really enhance the characteristics of the clown with the outfit. It's not just anything. It has to be something that you can almost like the external what's it called? the visual part of the clown.
Yeah.
Um, and um, and so then at the end you have a clown, and then every time we perform for 3 days. The last 3 days of the workshop are performing days, and then we have feedback and everything. And so I was very used to that because I was working, I don't know, a long, I got 7 years or I don't know, 9 years or something with Giovanni. And then when I do this thing with Vivian, the first thing that Vivian said, there's a room there with a lot of clothes. Go put on something and come out.
Hmm.
I go, put on something? What do you mean? People don't have their outfit? And I brought my outfit and I go, what do you mean put on something? And then I was so like crazy about it. And then I was telling Vivian the other day, and he was laughing because I thought to myself, okay, I'm gonna trust that there's something in here that I don't know again.
Yeah.
And I'm just go put on something and come out. And then I realized that Vivian's approach is the state of the clown. It doesn't have to do much with the appearance or the outer part, which I find that Giovanni goes from the outer to the inner,
Right.
you know? And so, and I feel like these two very complement each other very well. I feel like they're my two teachers, that I couldn't decide, like if somebody were to ask me no, I couldn't decide for the two because I think they bring very something different. Anyhow, so then I started becoming so interested in this thing called the state of the clown. And this and I very much, I don't know, like I feel it like this thing that I was when I came to meditation, this sense of like how is it that mind works? It kind of moves me to that place of like, what is it? How is it that the clown experience things from a state? What's the state that will allow you to experience the
Yeah.
world in this way? And I very much appreciate that. So I don't know. I just feel like the universe or whatever it is put me in this um, place where I was able to meet these two teachers, and I really, really like them.
Yeah. And when you were working with Giovanni, were you aware of being in a clown state?
I,
Yeah.
I don't think I was aware per se of that.
Yeah.
I in that moment in my life, I feel, and this is why also I love clown, because all the time that I was working with Giovanni, that the work, what gave me, besides the theatrical part of it, what gave me was a new way, like a new tool in a way to actually see myself, to see myself in the sense of, because I was, I don't know how to say, like, it's interesting because some people think that I'm very kind of sure of myself, or like I don't think people will think of me as a non-confident person.
Mhm.
But I wasn't. I think now I'm starting to kind of find my way and actually appreciate myself for who I am, really. But I spent a lot of time thinking that I wasn't good, that I wasn't enough, that I had to work on myself, that I had to do something, that I had to change something. But at the same time, I felt like part of me had that idea, like I had to be different, but another part of me felt like, no way, you're already fine. But the other part was much like stronger. Like, no, this thing about me, for example, I get mad. That's not a good thing. You have to correct that. And and I have friends telling me, Minnie, you're so intense. You're just too intense. And then I took that as something bad, right? Something like, hmm, I guess that is not a good thing. I guess I should do something with that. But then I'll be like, oh, I will experience life in such an intense way, in a way. So I was like, that's not a good thing. And I will feel bad about myself. But when I found my clown is insane. I mean, the work that I did with Giovanni, my clown is crazy. She's like very intense, right? So the voice is loud and really knows, like it's like like that. And it's like, but at the beginning, I will come in and I'll be like really shy. But then once I found my place, I'll be like, rah, you know. And then I found that people were like responding to that. They really enjoyed it, right? And so that was a crazy thing for me. I'm like, what do you mean? This intensity is actually something that come across like people can actually take it. And I went, wow. And so that word, that thing made me say, I'm fine, like I'm okay. I am a person that lives life in this way. Yes, sure, I'm not gonna go being crazy and yelling at people in the street. I could kind of tone it down sometimes. But this passion, this thing, it's not a bad thing. It's actually a good thing. And it has a place somewhere. So that's why for me, I feel like when then I do this coaching thing, which it wasn't clear at the beginning, because for me, there was a time where I was like doing clown, doing meditation, and doing coaching as if they were completely, totally three different things.
Mhm.
And in my mind, they were not touching at all. Like they didn't. And so one time somebody asked me, so what's the thread that goes through everything you do? And I go, nothing. There is no thread. And then I go, if there were to be a thread, what would that be? And then I thought, why do I meditate? Because I want to make friends with myself. I want to really take myself and I want to feel good. And when you get to a place in meditation where you can rest and just be with whatever is happening and without fighting, the kind of fight somehow stops at some point because you're like, this is what it is.
Yeah.
And then why do I do clown? Because I love expressing and I love being myself. And I feel that clown allow me to embrace myself and to accept me as I am. And why do I do coaching? Because I feel that for me, what it gave me, and in the training that I did, we talk about rapport with self, with other selves, and life itself. So it's a way to become in rapport with me. So then I realized all three things at the core, what they had was to become and be in rapport with self, with other selves, and with life itself. And so then I thought, wow, that's when I realized that I want to do clowning to help other people find that place in themselves. And so that's why in the programs that I do, we start with meditating. We start with 5 minutes of meditating before even saying hello.
Yeah.
So that somehow we come more present to our experience. And then we do the clowning thing. And then there is sometimes I do it more, like I will offer journaling questions, or there's some kind of reflection where people feel like they kind of come back and think, how is this work actually connecting with me and my life and what I'm doing right now? So that's kind of the process that I always do in one way or another. But
Yeah.
it has those three elements. Yeah.
Yeah. I could maybe also add that that's probably why you play tennis as well. I think I think
Probably. Yeah. I like singles. I don't like doubles. I'm a singlist.
How long have you been playing it for?
3 years.
Oh wow.
And now I started to understand it a little bit, because I spent all these 3 years trying to get
Yeah.
the moves, like try to understand, and I'm making it automatic that I'm not thinking so much.
Yeah.
But now I started to think about the game. Yeah,
Yeah.
the strategy.
In fact, there was
Yeah.
a really nice thing that one of my coaches told me a couple of weeks ago. Um, so he was saying that every time we're sort of rallying and playing the shots, I'm doing okay. I'm hitting it okay. But but as soon as the points start happening, as we start playing a game against each other, um, the pressure of it being a game and the pressure of me probably losing a point, that really gets to me. And I sort of just hit it out, or I like the simplest things that the ball that I would hit in a rally with the coach, I can't do it in a match. Um, and he told me something that gave me a lot to just reflect on, which was he basically told me, he said it in Hindi, but something along the lines of you're taking too much pressure because it's a game. Just play the ball for what it is. And I think that's also what clown is, no? Sometimes um in my very limited experience of it, I've seen myself and many others sort of try to try to make something funny. And
Mm, mm.
very often like pushing the audience so much, like see, I'm doing something funny. Do you see it? But sometimes it's just important to like play to what the relationship is right now, instead of like a premeditated, like this is how I'm going to do it and it will be funny, because most of the times those things are not funny. um
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. I two things come up when I hear you say that. One is that I spend a lot of time, a lot of time, a lot of those workshops with Giovanni, meaning Giovanni because it was the beginning, not because of him, because he's an amazing teacher. But I feel that for myself, I spent so much time criticizing myself
Yeah.
while I was there, that I had few moments, especially at the beginning, sometimes few moments where I was totally there.
Mm-hmm.
And those were the funniest moments,
Yeah.
right? But I will be on stage. It was almost like it was me and my critic. And the critic was right here and it's like, yeah, 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 like kind of, but I wasn't even bringing it to the clown. This is kind of what I tell people, like, give it to the clown, give it to the clown, whatever is happening to you right now, because it's not that that is a bad thing, that there is this critic there, but make it visible and give that to the clown and let the clown deal with it. And that is the present moment.
Yeah.
Because I used to think, oh my God, I just wanted the earth to open and swallow me so many times. I felt so bad, so many times, thinking, it's not working.
Yeah.
Blah, and feeling so bad about it. But then, um, I mean, I think everything, like you said, everything I've done in my life, it kind of, and also, how to say, because I don't consider myself a teacher, I consider myself more like a facilitator of a space so that people could actually find whatever they could find about themselves in this situation. And so then, for example, I feel that putting myself in that place, because I'm very good at seeing things outside that actually help me. So when I will like give feedback to people, I will have it very clear. And also because I could see people going through similar things that I was going through and seeing that the only way around that is to give it to the clown. And so then I started doing that because I think I told you the other day when we were talking that sometimes in this work that I do, sometimes I also put on my nose and I do something. And one is because I just want to, do the work. And the other thing is because I feel that sometimes maybe people can learn by seeing. And I don't know if it's helpful, but also it helped me really taking that time to when nothing is happening and really feeling it and really coming back. What's your form? Like what is it? Is it something about your voice? Like, for example, something that brings me back is my hands. There's something about this kind of like right here, and there's something with my shoulders that come down, and there's like in my nose, something like this that bring me back to the state. And so even though I will feel like I'm being swallowed again by something, I go, where is it? Where is it? What's the form? And actually not thinking or feeling that something has to happen, but being there and allow like to just write that place. And then you start connecting with something and that becomes something. Like I also study with this woman, Liz Barron. She studied with Giovanni also. And Liz is an incredible teacher. She's amazing, amazing. I really love her. And so she will talk a lot about the theme, finding the theme. Where is the theme? And to just find it while you're there instead of thinking of coming with something that you thought. So that thing is like you just come into nothing and just be and feel, and then you'll find the theme. And then just follow it and be with it and just see where it takes you. And that's it. But that is something that took me years to really kind of somehow feel good about, I think. I guess that's what I would say, because I don't know that I don't know that I'm a good clown, but I feel much better about it when I'm doing it now than when I used to do it before. I have more fun. I can relax. Yeah. And the other thing I wanted to tell you is like in my first workshop, my first training with Giovanni, he gives, let's say that the program starts on a Saturday, and then Friday night he always gives a talk to the public, whoever wants to come. And so and then we embark into the program. And that night in Minneapolis, there was this guy that he was like, I want to do it. I want to do it. And Giovanni goes, there's no more room. No, I want to do it. I want to. And he just basically made him say yes. So he came. And he was trying so hard to be funny. And of course he wasn't, right? And so I think the entire maybe 2 weeks he wasn't. So we were like, and he will like, Giovanni didn't know what to do anymore. Just had to like, get this guy to stop trying and to actually just feel whatever it was happening. And so there was one moment we could all see it where he somehow dropped it and was there, he became the funniest of all, the funniest. And the other thing that Giovanni does is that he finds a name. He kind of, the clown also has a name.
Yeah. Yeah.
And his name was Born Apart. Even the name, it was incredible. My God, he was so hilarious, so hilarious. And so, the type of clown that, like, the idiot that you just like, you're like, oh my God, I can't believe this guy. But really, really, really funny. And so that's the thing. It's so obvious when we drop it, and just are there. Yeah.
What do you think we're dropping it? What do you think we're dropping when you say when we drop it?
One thing is a critic,
Mm-hmm.
and in my experience, and another thing is just trying to be something. It's this, because, like, for example, when I find the same thing happened to me in tennis, where I'm like in the rally, I'm like pa pa pa, and I'm a woman, and I like to do these rallies with a man, and he throws me the ball really hard, and I just send it back. And then when I play with other women, kind of my age, I find it so boring because it's like boom, boom, it goes out, and it's just have to someone come back, and it's so much time in the middle that I lose the mobility. And like with this guy, I'm like pa 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 pa. But then when we try to play, the same thing happens to me. Like I it's really hard. And like today, it was 6-0 basically. 6-0. But I did like 3 points, at least 3 points that were amazing. He did not see them coming. But I'm so happy that about those 3 points, not about the 6-0. Because the thing is that what happens, I feel that the thing that you were saying, this kind of performing type of thing, that you feel, how come? And then at the wall, I like to also train with the wall. I just hit the ball, in this big wall, whatever it's called in English. And I go, whoa, if you see me there, you go, this woman plays. But then I go and play a match with somebody that plays 100 times. I mean, not that many, maybe 5 times worse than me, because I'm not that good anyways. And then you go, how? What is happening in, like, why I'm playing like this here and I'm playing like this here? And then when I, and try to kind of be in the match situation, nothing works.
Yeah.
But my theory about tennis per se is the automation. It's just becoming something automatic. Like, for example, when I started doing the rallies with my coach, I wasn't hitting anything. I already kind of had, the moves, but I wasn't hitting it. And they're doing it. Now I can hit it back, right? And so today I was telling him, I just think, he said, do you want it to go back to the rallies, or you want to keep going with the set? I go, no. I mean, if you can be patient with me, let's go back to the real, because to the game, because I feel that it's a matter of me doing it, and becoming automatic. I don't even get mad anymore because I feel like it's just putting in the time. And at some point, I will have it, and I'll be able to get all these balls. But with the clown, I feel that what we're dropping is this idea that something has to happen, and that we are making it happen.
Yeah.
That's the thing. We're not making anything happen. We're just experiencing life. And sometimes for me, the funniest times of the clowns are like when they're like really there, doing nothing, and they're just like, you can watch them feeling things. You're like, oh my God, you just want to keep watching this person having this moments. Um, and that's it.
Yeah. Those are the moments of beauty that almost like when that happens in a performance space, it feels like healing. And I see how you connect meditation and clown and this entire thing of being a clownch. Because those I think so much of clowning, as you say, I realize so much of clowning is just about those 3 points. But you can't get those 3 points unless you play the 6 games, which you might lose, and you most probably will lose. Um, but there's no other way to find those 3 points. Like you can't play just 3 points and expect to find those 3 points. You have
Exactly.
to play an entire set. You have to play those 6 games, and there'll be those three, and those 3 points to me are like when you talk about that guy, Bonaparte, and him dropping it, and that moment of laughter, and that, and I think that moment of laughter is probably not because it's just because it's funny, but it's because it's so deeply, deeply human. And
Exactly.
those 3 points that you talk about, like, yeah, when I see Rafa and Roger, playing and getting that 1 point that they've really fought for, those moments are also really, really human. I think there's like clowning and athletes are somewhere on the same level when it comes to just performing what it means to be deeply human.
I that's so beautifully said. That's so beautifully said. And I feel also that when the thing that's being dropped as well is that the internal chatter also.
Yeah,
Because again, when you are playing, I feel the moments where you I don't know how to say, the moments where you miss are probably the moments when you came back in to to kind of talk about what's happening, you know. But when Roger and Rafa were playing at that intensity, there is no freaking way any chatter is going to go through.
yeah,
It can't, because you're so in it. Your body is moving and your attention is on the ball. You're not even paying attention to your arm. You're just like on the ball. Like I love to watch them, when they just go like looking at the ball until the moment they hit.
yeah,
And then they see where it goes.
yeah,
But it's just their eyes on the ball the entire time. And that you can't play like that and also be thinking, am I doing it right? Is it wrong? Like
yeah,
I'm just being a fool, and like people are laughing, or whatever the hell is going through
yeah,
our minds. But definitely, I had these moments of totally in my mind thinking, oh, nobody, and I could see people's faces, because that's the other thing in clowning. You can see the audience either not reacting at all
yeah,
or engage with you, because it doesn't mean that they're going to be laughing the entire time, that, but that there are times when they're not laughing, but you can totally feel they're there with you.
yeah,
But there are times, and it's so painful when you see them and they're not there. You know what Giovanni told me one time? Well, I mean, he didn't tell me only, like he told
mhm,
all of us in the moment. He said, you have to be the first one to give something to the audience.
mm,
When you give something to the audience will give back to you. But you cannot expect the audience to give first. They just can't. They won't. It's you has to give something,
yeah,
and then they will give back. And that back and forth. Oh, I don't think there's anything better on earth. I don't think there's anything better. And that's why I feel the clowning is so, like, I never went back to do theater after that, because this fourth wall thing that we have in theater, where we pretend the audience is not there, it just doesn't make it anymore to me. Like, I just, I swear to God, theater doesn't make any more sense after doing clowning. This relationship, this back and forth with the audience, nothing else.
Yeah.
Nothing else.
When you talk about this back and forth, like what a wonderful metaphor we've stumbled upon today, because like that's like you're talking about tennis and you're talking about clown, and it's really like when you say you have to give, you have to be the first one to give, really just means that you need to start the rally with the serve.
You
and
need to serve. Yes. You need to serve.
and the audience keeps throwing balls at you with the,
Totally.
with with how their body is, with how they are looking at you. Maybe sometimes they don't even look at you, um and those are the balls that you need to play in a way. It's in a way it's playing tennis but with balls constantly coming at you, and you just having to like play it for what it is. Um and yeah, I mean like when you speak about this, it's taking me back to something that you said at the beginning of this conversation, where you spoke about, you used to always feel very intensely, and people around you would say that why you so, and that's the exact um response I've had. I'm exactly so. I've had people tell me that I feel too deeply, or I'm too intense about things, and and I think it's wonderful that people like us have come across
Yes.
clowning,
Yes.
because yeah, I think the state of the world currently sort of looks down at feeling too deeply, sort of looks down at being too intense, and I think we miss out on a lot of beauty, a lot of poetry because of that. We we are always feeling in a very superficial manner and just going through life, but we are not allowing ourselves to like really run for that ball and just take the swing and then play it, we're
Yes.
uh, um
Yes. And there was something else also, that yesterday we had a session and we were working on the state, choosing the state that will actually somewhat be helpful, right? So we started with the meditation, where I will suggest use the breath to let go of whatever is not serving you, and then choose the state, whatever that is for you, that you think it will serve you. And
hmm,
so we did that for 5 minutes, right? And then we worked with the clowns. This there were two persons, these two ladies, and each of them have like a counter mask. So we worked with the two clowns of each, and then the two of them with the other. So there were four clowns at the end. But the idea was that they, and so I will ask them to tell a story, and to then find one thing that will be different in the story, which will cause the result of the story to be different.
mhm,
And so then, in a way, at the end, we had this conversation, and it was this, like, we came back to this choosing the state. It's like, why do I want to go down this way if it's not really helping me? And by helping me, it's basically, in my mind, is feeling good.
mhm,
And then somebody said, well, maybe because we want to be coherent. And I go, okay, sure, yes. And then we're coherent. And then what? We don't feel good. So I'd rather feel good. And so and then we were talking about how interesting also is for the actor to commit to the form, whatever it is that they were playing, because each of them were kind of playing too, to commit to the form in the moment, so that will allow the other to play, right? And so in my mind, it brought me back to tennis as well, because since we have this thing going on, because usually the times when I miss is because I'm like all over the place with my body, right? But if I'm staying really, if I put myself and I hit from there, committed to the posture, to the actual technique,
Yeah.
much better. Not only I don't get as much tired, but I actually more efficient. So this committing to the form as well is very interesting in life, I think, every altogether.
Yeah.
Who are you and what are you doing? Are you intense? Cool, okay, well then live intensely. And then it's okay if others, that's what I started thinking. And then, some people, if they don't like it, well, they'll kind of go away. But I will experience my life. I just cannot not be who I am.
Yeah.
I,
I think that's a wonderful note to start wrapping this up on, because I promised you an hour and I've taken 1.5 hours of your time.
I could be here forever. I started thinking, do I have something else to do? I mean, like, because I could be talking like this for forever. This is a very nice. I was a little bit reticent about, I don't know if I want to do this interview thing, but I had a great time. I think you're very, very good interviewer. Very good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I haven't gotten into most of the questions that I had for you, because this just took a wonderful turn, and it was just so beautiful, like listening to everything that you had to share. Um, at some point, maybe I'll reach out to you for a part two, because I have so many more questions. I think
Sure.
today's conversation about just clowning and tennis and just what it is for you. I think that's a really, also, this is the first episode of this podcast, and I think it's yeah, I think it's a wonderful beginning. So I'm very happy with this, and yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like what we really touched on was this idea of really committing to our lives and who we are, and to live our lives from that place, um, and really go for it. And yes, it will probably cause others to kind of wonder,
Yeah.
and because somehow, I don't know, it's a different take, or maybe really accepted this idea that feeling is not a good thing.
Yeah.
But I think those of us that really understood that it's actually the only way we can live our lives,
Mm.
I think we should stay with it, and also maybe, I don't know, hold, like there's this image in Buddhism that one of my teachers will say, this image of like holding the flag high for others to see where it is, right? And if they want to show up, they will, and if they're not. It's just like all we can do is just this, and that's it.
Yeah. I'm thinking about the flag. Um, yeah, because a lot of times, like clowning isn't like a clown performance has never felt like a, a thing that I can like package and sell to people. Like it's never felt like a product. But like I really resonate with this image. Yeah, I think when we undergo a lot of clown training, we sort of get a sense of this journey that almost feels like some kind of transcendence, and then we're so excited to go to the rest of the world or to go home sometimes, go back to your home city sometimes and be like, I'm holding a flag because I've discovered something and I want you all to come and join me in this and experience this as well, because I was lucky enough to go and experience it, and you can also be. Um, yeah, it's a very sort of non-selfish way of um, sharing. I think it's yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and you can it's you never know how people respond. You never know. And I think the more we can be ourselves, the more, because this is another thing that again, I feel like we want to try to close, but then if we open up another thing. But
Yeah.
the thing is that I realize that to me, clowning is the second most generous thing that a human being can do other than giving birth. And I didn't give birth, but I feel that for a woman to carry life in their own bodies and then push that out, and just bring life into life, and then a clown, for a person to actually voluntarily go and put themselves out there and feel themselves, feel what they're feeling, and really allowing themselves to be who they are so that others can see themselves.
Yeah.
That is to me one of the most generous things, because when a clown goes up on stage or anywhere they go, it's not so much about them to be seen or anything. When you're an actor, oh, I want to be seen most of the time, right? But a clown doesn't care about being seen. But because they are actually willing to have their own experience, the others can see themselves through them. And it's unbelievable, because that's when people laugh, because they see themselves in the clown tribulations, and in the clown feelings, and in the clown, what the clown is going through. That's why they laugh.
Yeah.
And then I think this is the last thing that I could say, that I just realized that what do clowns and tennis players do? They play.
Yeah.
They just play. And that's it.
Thank you for listening to this episode. Where Are the Clowns is an audio interview series committed to bringing stories from clowns all over the world, thanks to the Clown Spirit Fellowship by Barnaby King and Dan Rudolph. The music for the series is created by Hanna Fleety O'Dolan, also known as Mashana, and I'm Manish, your host for the interview. See you in the next episode.